Hey there, folks. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Marvel review. I'm back. I've been gone for a couple of days, but I'm here to do another video. And this is the 2002 film that really put Marvel on the map. That they're here to stay. And for the last 13 years, a lot of their movies have dominated the box office. And this was the big one that really took off, and that is Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Yep. This is Sam Raimi's first in the Spider-Man trilogy, the very first 2002 version of him. And I saw this movie in the theater when I was like 17, so it was perfect for me. I was a late teeny bopper, and I was ready for a Spider-Man movie after so many years. I mean, in the 90s I was like, when are they going to make a Spider-Man movie? When are they going to make a Spider-Man movie? And they finally made one. And I was like, wow, finally we got a Spider-Man movie. And it came out at the right time. It was after 9/11. People were distraught and they wanted to have an American icon, to pretty much help us get through the early 2000s. And I think this film helped a lot. Sam Raimi did a good job. I know people say, oh, it's campy, it's stupid, and it has dated effects and all, but I still really enjoy this film. Unlike The Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, this movie did not bore me to death. It did the origin story quick. It didn't need an hour to do it. There's more Spider-Man in this movie than The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 combined. There's some corny dialogue, but it's witty. It's more witty than a lot of the garbage I saw in the Amazing Spider-Man film by Mark Webb. I like the costume. I think this costume looks better than the first Amazing Spider-Man. I like Tobey Maguire as the lead. I know he doesn't bore me to tears like Andrew Garfield. Kirsten Dunst, I don't hate her. I know a lot of people do. They could have casted somebody better, but I don't think she's horrible. I've definitely seen worse. Shailene Woodley would have been nice, but the franchise already was dead again thanks to Sony doing stupid decisions. But this movie worked. It made over $400 million. It's one of the highest grossing superhero films post Dark Knight and post the Avengers. The Green Goblin, I think, is fine. I know the suit looks like a Power Ranger suit, but hey, it's a practical suit. I liked Willem Dafoe as the villain. He's a lot better than freaking this guy as the Green Goblin in Amazing Spider-Man 2. He actually does more. I think the visual effects, while some of them are dated, I think some of them look really nice, especially the fight scenes. Yeah, Spidey gets his ass kicked at the end. Well, he's inexperienced. Did the Lizard kicked his ass in Amazing Spider-Man 1, and at least in this one, when Uncle Ben's killer, or so you think it was, he actually goes after him. In Amazing Spider-Man 1, the Uncle Ben's killer gets away and he never mentions him again. So it's like it's kind of pointless. He got the powers for nothing. But here, at least if you take it, if you look at it from this perspective of the first movie, he gets one of the accomplices that killed Uncle Ben. And it's very straightforward. It's 2 hours, but it didn't feel that long for me. Uh, the movie went at a fast pace. I don't think I was ever bored. Even in the talking scenes, there was some cute moments between Peter and MJ. I don't think it was that forced. Uh, yeah, it's 121 minutes. It felt a lot shorter than the reboot, and the campiness didn't bother me. That it felt too corny and it didn't feel like Spider-Man, and it was shoved down our face. I thought it was done well. There's a lot of good in this movie that some people have overlooked because they say, oh, the reboot was grittier and it was darker, and Spider-Man's not supposed to be dark. He's a light-hearted character. You're not supposed to take everything he does seriously. He's a jokester and a smartass, and he's a witty guy. He's not, oh my god, I'm emo and I want to die, and I want to be dreary over my parents' death. No, this didn't do that. Yeah, Peter Parker cries a lot in these films. Tobey Maguire, but it was Sam Raimi's directing. He wanted to get emotion from his cast, so it's not a zombie. With Garfield, they just did it too much, and it just bothered me, and it made the movie dreary. Like it was trying to be like the Dark Knight, and it fails. Don't try to be Dark Knight if you're not the Dark Knight, because Man of Steel tried that also, and it failed, and it was boring. But this film is fun. From 13 years ago, I know a lot of people not a fan of these films. This one or Spider-Man 3 or even Spider-Man 2. Some people say, "Oh, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better." I don't see it. At least this movie and Spider-Man 2 had one main villain. They didn't have three shoved down your face, and or that they have a villain, one villain that sucks like the Lizard did, and they didn't have shitty CGI, and the budgets weren't as big. I mean, this was a big budget film, but it wasn't $200 million like the new ones. And the villains actually do more, and they're more memorable. The Green Goblin actually has some dialogue that I remember, and he does things that I remember, killing these people with the pumpkin bombs and beating the hell out of Peter and scaring the hell out of Aunt May. He does stuff. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, Green Goblin appears at the last 5 minutes, kills Gwen Stacy, and then he disappears. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's more disappointing to me. I'll take campiness over boredom any day. So that's what I say. I'm defending this movie. I really enjoy this film. I know this is the full screen edition, but the film itself, widescreen, full screen, I enjoy it. And despite its flaws, I can enjoy this as a popcorn flick. It still holds up. Yeah, it needed more one-liners, from the comics, but I thought they did it right for the first try. I mean, if this failed, we would have never seen Spider-Man 2, and the reboot probably would have never happened. And I am looking forward a bit more of this new reboot with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, because anything will be better than the last reboot. That reboot was freaking boring, and the next reboot won't have the origin story. You just throw Spider-Man right in. We know who he is. We know what his origin is. Just throw him in the action. Let's get to know him more, and no more dreariness about Uncle Ben, and stop with the romance. You see, this did the romance, then they copied it in the reboot with Gwen Stacy instead of MJ, and then they just made it the central plot of the whole film. And no, Spider-Man's not a romantic comedy. He's a superhero. Keep that aspect alive first, and then put the romance later. Just focus on what's important. Spider-Man, not the freaking 15 subplots that they put in the reboot and such. While it's not perfect, it is a fun movie, and I really do enjoy this, and I think that it's underrated, especially nowadays. There were better films that came out. I do enjoy Iron Man more than this, and the Avengers, and Captain Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Ant-Man and Avengers 2. But I think this is a good movie. I don't think this is horrible. I like the score. I like the directing. The writing is pretty decent. I don't think it's the worst written thing. And it's the first of its kind, so I respect it for that. And it did a lot of things right. It made a lot of money for a reason, because people kept going to see it. The reboot didn't stand a chance against Avengers because it tried too hard. This tried enough and it succeeded. So there. So that's my defending of Spider-Man, the 2002 film. I don't hate it. I know some people do. To each his own. I like this kind of movie. Like I said, campiness over boredom any day. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Leave your comments. Keep subscribing. Keep leaving, inbox me, whatever you want to do, and also, on a side note, I know this has nothing to do with the movie, but, it's freedom of speech. If people say something on the internet, they shouldn't take it to heart. It's just an opinion or thoughts, and, words are not going to always hurt you. Sometimes, you hear something and then it goes away afterwards. There, like the thing that happened with Hulk Hogan, that was just messed up. He said the N word like 8 years ago, and they fired him for that. And I really don't understand that. But anyway, freedom of speech. People have to grow up. Just have fun on the internet. Don't make things too personal. Anyway, that's my review of Spider-Man, the 2002 film done by Sam Raimi. It was done right in my opinion, and stay tuned. The next review will be of the great sequel that we got. That's still to me the best Spider-Man movie that's been made so far, live action wise, and that is Spider-Man 2. So stay tuned for that one next time. Later.